Hey guys, welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV. The day after Chelsea drew 2-2 to Ipswich Town at home after trailing 2-0 at half-time, by the way. How did we get here and what on earth happened? I'm joined today by Taron. Of course, as you can see, he's probably a familiar face from TikTok. Vivo Football, of course, you can check him out on TikTok. Father, of course, feeling rough and recovering from his trip to Poland last week. And shortly we'll be joined by Lewis. As you guys know, he's late. And Alex isn't here today, but we're going to talk about the game, guys, because what on earth and how did we get here? Taron, what did you make of that performance yesterday?
If you go 2-0 down to Ipswich at home when you're trying to get to the Champions League places, it's kind of inexcusable in my opinion. When you put out a lineup that's so negative from the start, putting Chalobah at right back, I really didn't get that idea. I was trying to watch the game and see what he was trying to do tactically, maybe try and pin them in. But when you have Achimpong on the bench, you have Gusto and Reece James on the bench, it's an absolute joke, really. To come back, yeah, it's nice, but if he didn't come back, then you might as well fold the club and just liquidate it at that stage, because Ipswich, their only home win this season was against Chelsea, and 19 points, well, now 20 points the whole season, and 4 of them have come against Chelsea. So an absolute joke, really. And Champions League football, I was saying this before we start filming, it's gone in my opinion. Like, there's no chance with our run. I can't even see us getting more wins. So sad times, really.
Is that top 4 done? Top 5, rather?
Oh, absolutely. At this rate, it's just that you might as well just scrap the project. I'm being deadly serious. Like, what? For the last 3 years, I'll give you stats here. We play about 8 relegation teams in the last 3 years, ever since this ownership took over. Leeds United, Leicester, Southampton, Sheffield United, Burnley, Luton, Ipswich, Leicester. Well, that's 9 actually. Southampton. So, arguably, in the last 3 years, we picked up only less than 6 wins against relegation teams. That's just telling the stats how bad it looks like. But my problem is that it goes beyond the performance on the pitch, because what I saw on Thursday, I was at Warsaw away. It was the same carbon copy in the first half, but luckily enough that I think for the last 5 weeks or so now, we've been playing for that 1-0 win. It's not sustainable, and unfortunately, our luck runs out yesterday.
Luck is probably a good word to use for it, because we always said, we can't beat the top teams, but you do better against the lower opposition. Well, we don't do that either, right? We've struggled.
We struggle a lot, and especially with the Ipswich yesterday, and they tried to do this inverted stuff that people talked about. They try to do this, try to put Gusto as an inverted in the middle in the second half. Doesn't work out. Even Chalobah in some ways from the right hand side. Let's be honest with you. He's not a right back. He's not he's a centre back regardless. And I can go on and on, but it's just the same thing that I've been seeing for the last couple of months now, and it's just that getting so jarring, and I can't even blame the fans now even turning on Maresca at this rate.
No, you can't. But like you said at the start, it's never acceptable to be in a position where you're 2-0 down at home to Ipswich in the first place. After we had so much of the ball as well. Like, where have we seen that? How many times have we seen that? Chelsea having all of the ball, trying their luck at goal, and then the first sight of ball Ipswich see is a goal, and then a second, because momentum shifted after that, didn't it? But there were boos at half-time, guys. It was pretty toxic and at the ground yesterday. Obviously, Father, you were there, you'd know. And, you know, Maresca spoke out about this, saying that it's not nice to have a toxic environment. You know, it doesn't motivate the players. It doesn't edge the players on. Do the fans have a right to boo at half-time?
I think it's egotistical comment that made for him, because as fans, we have the rights to be not happy with the performance on the pitch. It's been like that for ages. We've dropped a lot of points at home, especially against the teams that we were supposed to win on paper. Bournemouth, Palace, even though I'm not them far from at the start of the season. Fulham at home. Bournemouth at home as well. Brentford. I can't lie. It's just that it's so jarring that we lost roughly about 20 points. Literally, just because our own doing. We kept making too many mistakes. Tacticals is still that inept. And my issue is that not only you get the backlash from the fans on the pitch, but off the pitch stuff. It's just that it's a mess all around.
Yeah. Where did it go wrong for us though in the first half? Obviously, I think individually you could pick out Cucurella maybe and Levi Colwill, both of them, for letting it get to the stage where they have an opportunity to shoot in the first place. Cucurella to me looked confused. He was very easily beaten, but Colwill should take some blame as well ultimately for that. But what went wrong defensively for us? What has been going wrong defensively? Because we've leaked a lot of goals like that. We were able to outscore opponents at the start of the season, but can't no longer because we're not able to finish chances. But what actually went wrong?
Just lapses in concentration from players who are not good enough to play for Chelsea. Like, I'm not singling out players, well, I'm just about to, but Tosin Adarabioyo is not good enough to play for a club anywhere near the top half of the Premier League. There's a reason he was at Fulham for 7-8 years of his career. He was let go of the City Academy for free, signing for us on a free transfer. Fulham didn't even want to keep him on. Like, they were happy to leave him on a free. To let George Hurst, the backup striker of Ipswich, at best a League One Championship striker, roll you on the halfway line, run through the centre of the pitch, and then just stand there and let Enciso get into the box and have a free shot. It's an absolute joke. That is the thing that is wrong with this. That's wrong with Maresca. That I think you cannot select Tosin in this type of game. You have to be positive. You have to start Chalobah, Cole. You have to start Cucurella, Gusto, Achiampong, Reece James. Maresca, as soon as I saw that lineup before the match, I said he's lying in his own deathbed at the minute. Like, you can't play Tosin in the Premier League anymore. I'm so sorry. And if you keep selecting these lineups, like against Brentford last week, yeah, I get it. Jackson and Palmer, they're recovering from injury. You need to manage their fitness, but to start Nkunku in a game against Brentford away when this man, his head has been in Bayern for the last 7-8 months, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and think, do you want to be sacked? Do you want to go back to the Championship and manage Millwall or something, mate? Because it's an absolute joke. And defensively, when you have a system where your whole plan is just crossing it into the box, what are you expecting? You're just going to have the team defending, clearing it out, trying to counter all the time, and then you have a slow defender like that at the back. You might as well just give up at that stage. And I'll say the last 4 games we've been better defensively. We've looked decent. We've kept a few clean sheets here and there, but you're looking at Southampton, one of the worst teams to ever play in this division. Leicester under Van Nistelrooy, which has been an absolute shambles. Tottenham, who are probably even worse than Southampton, let's be real. And Legia Warsaw. So it's all on Maresca and it's all on the selection. It's all on the owners, the board. I think, like as you were saying, mate, the frustration is not on Maresca. I feel like he's taking a lot of the heat, but we're frustrated at the way the club's being run. The club is being run to the absolute ground. Look at our summer business. Shrewsbury Hall, Pedro Neto, Sancho, Joao Felix, who's not even here, Renato Vega, Philip Jorgensen. What are you on about? So I think it's an absolute joke defensively. Yeah.
Well, there he is. He's arrived at the right time.
Lateness is greatness. Words of Matisse and all that. Oh, what a start.
Yeah, it sums us up quite nicely right now, doesn't it? Yeah.
How are you guys?
Yeah, we're great, man. Talking about... Oh, there we go. Yeah, so put it up close to you. Yeah, just talking about the bright, good days at Chelsea at the moment, mate. What do you make of that Ipswich game yesterday? Where are they? Good question.
The Ipswich game. These lot are embarrassing. That's the best way to describe it. Like, the first thing I clocked was the mentality, because I thought for about the entire period until they scored, we were cooking. Like, we were making a lot of chances. Ipswich had nothing. They scored completely off the run of play, and then heads drop immediately. You can see as soon as the first goal was conceded, like, the intensity's dropped a little bit. We're not moving as confident on the ball. We're now starting to overtouch things. It's the same stuff that we've spoken about all season. Poor finishing, poor mentality, bozo moments at the back, and it's all collided in what should have been the easiest win of our run-in. And now all that hope I had for top 5,
plummeted.
Gone.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing to me as well, mentality. If you can't pull yourself together to come back and overturn a result against Ipswich at home, what makes you equipped to demand and to qualify for Champions League football? That's the biggest takeaway as well from yesterday. So it's all good wishing for it, but concerns are now so much greater because this isn't a team that looks like it is prepared to go and play Champions League football, is it? With some of the games we've had, the performances have been fine enough, like you said, to grind out results against Southampton, against Leicester, maybe pick up a point off Brentford, but not any better than that. So we're looking at the rest of the run. Where do you pick out 2 wins, at least 2 wins from in these games coming up? I think that's the most alarming thing. Okay, Fulham, but I'm not confident against Fulham anymore. You've got Liverpool, you've got Newcastle, and you saw how they destroyed United yesterday. Could probably have the same thing for us in store. You've got Forest.
Everton at home.
Everton at home. Oh yeah, how dare I actually disregard?
I want to say United at home, but with our record against United, God knows.
Not confident. But yeah, Taron, you mentioned earlier why a lot of the spotlight is on Maresca right now. He's obviously not solely to blame. You know, the players there, the chances they didn't finish, they came back to bite him. But the way he set us up, and okay, you make a substitution, Nkunku comes on, why not bring your captain on? Just for those last remaining minutes when he's going to try and pick up this team off the floor to try and get back into this game. You bring on Nkunku, a player that is no longer interested in motivating this team, or he's not motivated to play here. It's been made clear to him he's not part of the plans. He's just a substitute at the end of the day. But there you go, you're bringing him on for him to inspire your team to a win. I don't actually get it. Reece James should have come on and had some minutes. There should have been a right back there in that lineup from the get-go, and he overcomplicates things and he invites pressure that he doesn't need to. I think we look so unbalanced when we get hit on the counter. Do you guys see that? The players don't really know how to mark. That's why possession is so ingrained in these guys. And I was confused because Maresca said that he's been encouraging the players to shoot from outside the box, but that's something that we've been literally shouting to see more and more of. Jadon Sancho
it's like they're
yesterday.
Just inspired to cross.
Exactly, but that's true. Someone behind me said, "Oh, Chelsea's just a crossing team." We are a crossing team. We cross, and there's nobody at the end of these. Why we keep crossing it aerially as well, I don't know. Like
honestly,
the goal that Ipswich
I put it down
scored,
to just Neto just being straight one-dimensional. Because if I look at Noni was, for me, the best forward yesterday for us, which is a very low bar. But at the very least, he was trying to be a bit multi-dimensional. Like, he was trying to either put through a cutback or try and beat a player and get towards goal. He's giving you different layers in his game. Neto, head down, run, shoot, cross the ball. Don't even look in the box. And it was just the story of his entire game. There was a couple that worked out because, like, if you're going to do about 50 of them, at least 2 or 3 are going to look good. But it's just one-dimensional as hell. And I also feel like we get forced that way because we've seen it for weeks now. Teams know that you can have a compact defence against us, set up low, and you just force us out wide because all you have to do is cross and there's nobody in there. Jackson's got no anticipation and isn't really that good in the air. And then who else? We were throwing Levi Colwell up there as an aerial threat about 4 or 5 times. That's how deep it was getting. Or Noni Madueke just trying to get a touch on the end of it. But it's easy defending. Even for the likes of Ipswich, it's easy defending. But then it just goes back to the windows that we've had before. We should have got the striker with aerial threat. We wanted a Duran. We wanted an Ombrodion. We didn't go get them. We didn't go get Oshimen. And now, look, like, at the very least, we could have had a bit of aerial threat to make us a bit more threatening and maybe unlock those low blocks a bit more. Here we are just dying by 1,000 crosses.
Yeah. So then, yesterday then, should Maresca get more blame as a whole? If you're looking at the whole season, how results have unfolded, I think he does deserve blame. And it's hard to look forward and see how this manager elevates and upgrades Chelsea moving forward. I think that's my biggest thing. Because, okay, here and now, we might, like you guys say, you know, top 5 seems to be done and dusted. Like, we've dropped out of it and we don't look anywhere near climbing back in.
Given up too many easy points.
That's the thing, though. We've been given so much leeway by other teams who have made mistakes. They have repeatedly opened the door for Chelsea, and we've just been our own enemies.
They'll probably still do it in the run-in, and we'll probably still shut it right in their faces again.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Because, like, Brentford and Ipswich were meant to be 2 victories. Brentford have 1 home win all season, and then we go there and we draw. Then this one, Ipswich at home, I don't even have to explain how winnable this should have been. We went 2-0 down in 20 minutes. Like, we're a joke. We're an
Taron, what are
absolute
your
joke.
thoughts on Maresca as a whole?
How can you back a manager that has clearly shown he gets found out? What did he do with Leicester last season? He was 14 points clear at the top of the championship. Gets found out, can't tactically adapt to changes that other managers are setting up against him, and finishes top by 2 points. And I believe he dropped out first for a few games as well. How can we back that this season? How can we say that we go, I don't know, top of the league in January next season? And how can we back that we're going to stay in that position?
How you back it is by giving him all the profiles that he needed. And this is the problem. We didn't do that. We know he's got a rigid system, but you don't go and you give him a window to strengthen the team. I look at it and I keep saying, we barely improved the team this season. People say we brought in the likes of Sancho and Neto. Neto's barely moved the bar. Sancho, a week ago, everyone wanted to send him back to United for 5 million. And then who else? João Felix, someone who can't lock down a starting position anywhere in Europe. We haven't strengthened the squad.
I think you have to adapt to what you're given, though. You have to adapt. Look at Thomas Tuchel.
This is where I agree that Maresca's got to take blame. He's not blameless at all because he is rigid. He don't really change things up enough. Like, I agree, there's been games, especially like yesterday, where, you know what, maybe overlap the fullbacks a bit more. Try and maybe get a bit more support. Maybe it would lead to something more than just crossing and praying and all this crap. But you knew what his formation was. You knew the way he was going to play. Why do you not give him every profile he needs to make it work? We've wasted the last 2 windows. And that's why recruitment's been my biggest problem for me this season. Maresca can still hold the smoke. He's not blameless. I hear it. There's games that he's fumbled. But you haven't strengthened the squad well enough. We know the last 2 windows have been poor. We've known for the last 3 windows, we've called for the same 3 profiles. Goalkeeper, centre-back, striker, we haven't got them. Lavrio and Fofana, who are so key to the way that we play. We know they're injury prone. We didn't get replacements. What did we do in January? We hoarded a player that we're going to send to Strasbourg in a month or 2. And then flirt with Garnacho. It's a joke. The recruitment's fucking pathetic.
You have to look at it, though. Did he want to sell Conor Gallagher? That, in my opinion, he was in that say of it. Yeah, the club wanted to sell Gallagher, but he didn't think he was a profile.
Yeah, because Gallagher don't suit possession-based
He wanted
football.
Robert Sanchez as a starting goalkeeper.
Yeah,
Whether it was a club or him.
He's not blameless.
He's coming out in press conferences last week saying, Nicholas Jackson, I want my centre forward to be exactly like Nicholas Jackson.
I think that's just more him defending Jackson in the press.
Defending Jackson, but
we've known he's wanted a striker for like the whole season. We know
DM, I'll give you that. But if he was open to selling Colin Gallagher, then that's your fault. Because Gallagher is the the box-to-box, pressing midfielder we need right now.
I think he'd be good in a possession-based system.
I think he could be. Last season,
he was terrible in possession.
I think he can develop that in his game.
I mean, maybe 100%. Maresca could improve that, but apparently everybody's regressed. So
I think next to Caicedo in midfield, you need someone like Gallagher who's going to eat up that ground, let the attackers
I wouldn't mind the profile in it, but I just wouldn't see him as any more than what we're using Dewsbury Hall for right now.
I think he's miles clear of Dewsbury Hall.
Yeah, I'm not even trying to argue that down at this point. Dewsbury Hall's not really shown me anything, but I don't think Gallagher has either.
The thing is, they just brought Dewsbury Hall just for the sake of the bonus that Maresca signed for Chelsea.
Bro, apparently he didn't even want him. It was just a board move.
But Lewis, I agree 100% that, the windows were underwhelming. We all know that we've been crying out for a striker. We know that we've been crying out for a goalkeeper that's actually competent at doing the bare minimum. But I still think that with the players that Maresca's had this season, especially in the second half, results and performances should have been better with the players that we have on paper. And the theory, this is the same group of players he had at the start of the season. Why were they able to grind out results? Why were performance looking better? Why are we scoring more goals? Why were we...
Teams hadn't figured us out as much. Because, how everyone tries to say the first half of the season was Poch muscle memory and all that. No, it wasn't. What it was teams didn't know Maresca like that. They didn't respect Maresca like that. So they come out and they be more direct. They try and give us more of a game. So we could afford to be more direct and counter as well. And we were very good at that. Now teams have figured us out a little bit. Play a compact low block with a fuck ton of players in the middle. And then just force us out wide into a horseshoe of death formation and repeat. You're not wrong though. The amount of points that we've got in 2025 is poor. It's crap. And he has to be held accountable for it too. 2 things can be correct at the same time. Maresca has to hold some of this smoke. The recruitment team have to hold it as well. Now for me, I think the recruitment team have to hold it more. That does not mean Maresca is not accountable. Both things for me are the same.
Yeah, no, I hear you, mate. I hear you. It's frustrating because the players look like they played with a lot more expression. They had a lot more license to just shoot and just do more. The way we play and this kind of whole tippy-tappy idea, you're not going to walk the ball into the back of the net every time. Sancho's shot, I'm so gutted that we couldn't enjoy that more yesterday. Why did we have to be in a position where that was the goal that salvaged a point against Ipswich at home?
Can I just say that on Sancho, though? Why the fuck has he not done that more?
Yeah, where has that been all season, huh? Oh, it's just, it's frustrating. But these are the players we have till the end of the season, guys. These are the players that need to rock up with something till the end of the season. What can Maresca actually change from now until the end of the season to get us playing better football? Father, what do you think?
I generally don't know what he's going to do in the next couple of games now. And my issue is that he's going to stick with the same thing, with the same type of players in the same lineup like yesterday, I generally don't know what to expect from him because he's gonna play only one-dimensional football and that's it. Inverted football, make the right back or left back inverted, and then just hoof ball from the side to side.
Even then, when it came down to yesterday, I don't even think the game plan was that much of a problem. I just think everyone shat the bed at 1-0. That was it. We were ripping them apart until we conceded. And then everybody's heads dropped. Suddenly we're over-touching everything. This is another thing when it comes to like the way that we play in the final third, the tippy-tappiness and everything. We're meant to be moving the ball quicker. But the confidence is shot of so many players. Palmer especially.
Yeah.
He's over-touching everything. Where he used to be like a lot more fluid. You could tell like the form that he's on has got to his head. He's now not thinking as quickly. He's now not making decisions as quickly. It's part of the reason why we're moving the ball so slowly and why we're so predictable. People don't just click.
Can I ask a question? Do we play a system that only play for 1-0 win?
What?
Do we play a system that, let's say, we only win like only by 1 goal?
No. Not that. No, because then we'd be a lot more defensively minded. No.
But it seems like we'd rather not concede another than go for another goal.
Yeah.
To me, that's what it seems like in a lot of games.
Well, what, we're looking back at the Brentford game, for example.
You could look at the Brentford game. You could look at the Tottenham game even. I mean, I know we had chances. They had chances as well. But
game.
Copenhagen.
Tottenham were at least direct because they could allow us to be.
Leicester game.
But it seems like Maresca's afraid of conceding and losing to a point where he won't go out and try and, do you know what, win it by a mile and blow teams away. We don't do that. It's almost like we're hanging by a thread every game.
I think it's just more like we don't do enough in the final third. We've seen it enough times. We don't find anybody in the middle because we keep finding ourselves forced to cross. We overtouch and overcomplicate everything in the final third. I think it's been the final third end product that's been an even bigger issue for us. I saw this stat in December. We had the second highest conversion rate in the league. In 2025 now, I think we have the second lowest. No one's burying their chances anymore. We're missing left, right and centre, or we're just taking pot shots from range. Like, look at yesterday. What was it? 34 shots and about 5 on target. Like, we've been pathetic in front of goal. And I don't think it's just like because of the tippy-tappy football. It's because we've just been shit. Nicholas Jackson's been holding the smoke for his finishing for a minute. So's Cole Palmer recently. Sancho, he don't even try shoot half the time. Neto, he's crossing to nobody half the time. Noni, we know his end product. That's our attack.
Taron, you were saying something about Tyreek George?
Yeah, why has he not got a chance?
Hey, that's
Why
facts.
has he not got a chance?
I would have rather seen him come on as well over Nkunku.
But going off what you just said, I think it's down to the first 6 months. Teams were pressing us, right? Teams were coming.
Yeah.
They didn't know what Maresca was on. They were trying to press him high up, see what he's trying to do. So I think the players had a bit more freedom to score. There was less pressure to score goals. Like would openly just shoot, and a lot of them would go in. Now teams know, just sit back. So the players feel like there's a pressure to have to score every single chance we get against a low block. Look at Jackson's one against the post in the first 15, 20 minutes, whatever that was. It just feels like the players have a lot of pressure now to score every single chance they have. We don't create as much as we used to. And the same thing, it was the same thing under Lampard in 1920 season. It was the same thing under Thomas Tuchel at times at home. It was the same thing under Mauricio Pochettino last season. When teams park the bus at Stamford Bridge, we just don't have that profile that's going to break that down. Cole Palmer last season, like you were saying, mate, had that confidence that he just pick up the ball from anywhere across the pitch without fluidity, smash it top bins, whatever. And now we don't have that. I'm trying to think, if Palmer was playing like this under Poch last season, where would we have finished? We could have finished 14th or 15th, seriously, with the amount of goals we contributed. So I think it's down to our players having more pressure to score all their goals. That's the reason our conversion rate has gone down to what second in the league, second worst in the league. But then you need that. Why don't we have that Olivier Giroud type striker on the bench to bring on? Like Mark Yu, fair enough, he's a profile, but that striker that we need on the bench just bring on.
You've been asking for that for 3 windows, man. This has been my biggest problem.
Joke.
Like, if you know Maresca's not really going to change his system like that, you give him every available profile to be able to work. And then if it doesn't work, you 100% blame him because you've been given everything. He hasn't.
Do you know what the crazy thing is that for the last 2 months, all the goals came from either midfielder or a defender.
Yeah,
Cucurella's
been our
highest goal scorer.
this year. Yep.
Just let that sink in, guys. Apparently we brought in goal-scoring wingers. That's what we were told. Cucurella is the highest scorer. Like, I don't know if
Joke.
that's amazing or really bad.
This is why I say Maresca can be held accountable. I'm fine with that, but these sporting directors, they need to take a lot more of this smoke. They did not strengthen the team well enough at all.
They need to go, man. They need to go this summer.
Well, let's talk about Cole Palmer in a little bit more detail because everyone said he'll be back. It's a rough patch. He's, going through his own... If anyone's allowed a bad patch, it's Cole Palmer for everything he's given us in the last seasons. But it's becoming increasingly concerning that he looks like a shadow of his former self. Like, what is that down to? Like, why is Cole Palmer so much overthinking everything he does, not taking the shots that he used to? What is it? What's gone wrong with Palmer?
Probably not used to being in this sort of form. Like, with younger players, maybe it just gets to your head a little bit more because, like, he's still been creating a lot of chances this season. I think he has the most shots in the league this season as well. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. So, I don't think it's the system that's ruining him. I just think the form's got to his head. And now his confidence is shot. And because nobody else is there to take the workload off him, all eyes are on him. Everyone's expecting him to be the one to take us out of like this problem. And his head ain't in it right now. You can see it in tight space. He's overthinking. When he's getting the ball, he's taking 2 or 3 extra touches than what you'd usually see of him. That's a confidence thing to me. So it's up to him to get his head out of that mess.
Can Maresca help him though? Or is Maresca part of the problem to why he doesn't look like himself?
I'm going to slightly disagree with Lewis because I think that maybe his system is too... It's not that... I think that it doesn't suit that system. In my opinion, that's why I feel like he's more suited to the right-hand side. And that's why I feel like we need somebody that plays a natural 10. And then we have Cole Palmer on the right because I think his best position with Cole Palmer probably on the right-hand side.
I don't mind him being on the right-hand side, but like...
Problem
the
is, who do
system
you
can't
put
be
in
the
10?
problem for him if he's able to make so many chances and also still be able to put as many shots away. I think ultimately, like, it's just the end product hasn't been the same. That's all it's come down to. Even as far back as a couple months, I could say at least he's creating chances consistently. Now it's like, it's a couple crosses here and there. Even he was guilty of cross spamming too many at times. But I didn't really think he started to, like, wake up until, like, the final 10 minutes. Even then, it's just because he forced a good save from the goalkeeper. That's it.
Taron, what do you think?
I think that penalty, if that went in versus Leicester, that would have been quite big for him because confidence-wise, just having the ball in the back of the net type thing. But yeah, he's with young players, like you said, mate. It's big for them. Like I felt like after the Fulham game, it wasn't just Palmer. A lot of the players' heads started to drop. They started to doubt themselves. Like conceding 2 late goals like that, it was a big downside in the season. But with Palmer, he's always been that man that's reliable from the start. Like we'd give the ball to him, he'd create and score, and now that burden is. It's still on him. Like we still need him, and he's still not performing. Like you said, it's got to his head a bit. I don't know what we can do. He just has to play his way out of the form. There's nothing else. We can't drop him. Who are we gonna play?
No.
Who on earth are we gonna play in the 10? Like
Nkunku.
I'd rather
God, no.
I'd rather not. I'd rather not do that. I wouldn't even play him anywhere near the bench at the minute. But he just needs that goal. Like if it comes against Fulham away, tap in, it deflects off his back or anything. It just needs to go in. Because, yeah, it's weird, though. Like, it's weird, like...
You could say that for all of these forwards. That's the thing. Jackson ain't even scored this year.
No, I think he's gone... Cole Palmer and Jackson are on 12 and 14 games with no goal.
And we know how important that partnership was for us in the first half of the campaign too. I think like since they joined before December, I think they had the most goals between each other in the league.
Yeah.
Now they've both fallen off a cliff. So have we.
Hey,
So I'll be real, like this forward line really needs a lot of smoke because like this year it's not been good enough from any of them.
No, I agree. Definitely. Like, yeah, of course, Maresca's to blame, but a lot of these players are void of confidence. And, you know, that just comes from our recruitment. Again, you know, you recruited, this is what you wanted. You wanted young potential players coming in on hope and vibes and what ifs. And, you know, you built that squad this way. So, of course, we've come to a point where you don't have the people in the team that can pick the youngsters up. You don't have the leaders that can, you know, shout their way out of it. And, yeah, so frankly, confidence levels are going down. So I just don't see how you pick up confidence for the tougher games, that we didn't collect points in our better run of form, guys. None of the games coming up did we collect 3 points from. None of them.
What, in the first half of the season?
Yes.
Oh, brother.
So you got
I
Everton,
think we
that
beat
was a draw.
Newcastle, didn't
Fulham,
we?
we lost.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, you're
Newcastle's
right.
one.
Just Newcastle, but even that game could have gone either way, guys. Like that day, we weren't convincing. We didn't blow Newcastle away. So yeah, apart from that one, no 3 points anywhere. So how do you get them now after these last few results? So let's just get to the big question: Champions League football, it's done, right?
Yeah, the last 2 games are it for me. Like, we had to at least win those 2 and then use that as something to build confidence and move from. We didn't beat Brentford, we didn't beat Ipswich, we've taken 2 points out of those 6. It's going to take a massive fuck up from the other 2 clubs, which could happen, but could we capitalise on it? I don't know anymore. You guys are going to shit the bed against Ipswich at home, then God knows what we're going to do for the remaining fixtures.
Any hopefuls here? Come on, guys, give me some false optimism.
Let me ask you a question. When was the last time Chelsea did not make it to Champions League spot for the 3 consecutive seasons?
Not in the Roman era.
Correct, 2002.
Yep.
1999 to 2002. That was the
Wow.
last time.
This season is going to be when they overtake the amount of years we spent out of the Champions League places in Roman's entire tenure.
There you go, guys. Broken records with a new regime. How good is that?
Did you watch the City game on Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see how they came back from 2-0 down?
Yes.
That's a serious club.
Yep.
That's a serious team. The way they turned it on last season when they won 10 games in a row to win the league, I feel like they're going to do the same to get top 4.
And
They
you
have
can
to
back. You can back that they will.
Yeah,
And
they have the profiles. They have the profiles to do that. You look at Villa. I mean, this brings it back to the recruitment team again. Daniel Marlon, Marcus Rashford, Marco Asensio. How key have them 3 been in getting them points? Who do we sign? Mati Samugu.
Well, you go back to City, Marmouche.
Yeah, Marmouche as
Marmouche.
well, right? Newcastle haven't signed anyone, but we were talking about this off camera. Key signings: Alexander Isak, Lewis Hall, Livramento, Guimaraes, Anthony Gordon. You know, big
Tonali.
players. Yeah,
They only got
They
1
quite-
game a week as well, so it works in their favour.
Yeah, I feel like there's a high chance that we could finish 8th or 9th. There's a high chance.
Taron, I mean, I was
There's a
going to
high
say
chance.
7th, but
Yeah.
Jesus Christ,
We spoke
that
on
is
this with Cameron
alarming.
as well. Apparently, it was the 4-point gap between
Yeah,
the
if
third
Brentford
place-
win their game in hand, it's a 4-point gap.
Well, Newcastle have a game in hand too.
Tonight, no,
Wed-
Palace Wednesday.
Palace
yeah,
Wednesday, yeah.
Palace Wednesday.
And if Fulham win today and beat us on Sunday, they go above us as well.
Oh my god.
Yeah, man. So it's
Wow,
looking
guys,
bad.
this is a lot worse than I expected it to be. But yeah, no, you're right, because Taron, you do have to look at the other teams that we're competing with at the moment. Like I said, they were not absolved of mistakes as well. They made mistakes for us to still be in it, you know, with the games that we lost. And you know, City are City. Like you said, they have the profiles. They have the manager as well, who, if anyone, you can count on facing some adversity to get over the line to get them into Champions League football. It is Pep. You look at Newcastle, yeah, 1 game a week, but they're in a great run of form. I don't know, they're on a great winning streak at the moment, and I don't see where a loss comes from. Aston Villa as well. The signings that they made as well, you talk about Marmouche at City, but, you know, Asensio, Rashford, players that come in and make an impact in the mid-season when you need them to grind you something out for the end of the year. What about us? We just let our loans out, the outgoings, yeah, we can manage without those players, and nobody incoming to make an instant impact now. So when you look at it that way, it's like, how could you possibly expect this team to finish in a Champions League spot? And the even bigger question, does this team deserve a place in the Champions League spots?
Nope. Nope. Can't even beat Ipswich. What's the point?
We dropped 4 points in the space of a week. Might as well just scrap the Champions League or Europa
The
League.
thing is, like, even the likes of City, like, I think they've been shit this season. I want front. Can't even capitalise on it.
No.
That's the most dejecting part of it. Also, it's like, I can't be bothered. I just want the season wrapped up at this point. Get me the Conference League final and keep it stepping.
Every team except us had a crack at City as well. Got some points off them this year. We didn't. That's
Yeah.
fun.
No.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That just says it all, isn't it? And, you know, Lewis, like you said at the start, mentality is a big thing. And these players, they don't have the mentality. And can you blame them? All of them came in with very thin CVs, barely any time playing senior football, let alone competing for these big trophies that we're expecting them to suddenly compete at Chelsea for.
And our experience is Robert Sanchez
Our
and Tosin.
experience, Robert Sanchez and Tosin. Yeah,
And
there you go.
Nkunku, who don't even want to be here.
Yeah, so that just says it all, isn't it? So yeah, keep brushing the problems under the carpet every window. Keep ongoing with signing 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds and expecting that, you know, they're going to rock up and be sold a dream about this project just so you can lock them in for a few years, maybe move them on for big money. But yeah, I don't see how this team is competitive. let alone in Europe against the big dogs. We're just going to get bashed about.
Speaking about mentality, I want to go back to this run that they had back in November till December when we lost, before we lost to Fulham. Don't you think we get these players, they were too comfortable? Because after the Tottenham game and Brentford game, we were, I think, in second place in that spot.
Yeah.
And I feel that when we're in that position, I just think that they think that the top four is wrapped. It's done like that.
Nah, I don't think they would have thought it that early. What happened was just the Lavry and Fofana injuries just stifled our play a bit. And then Jackson's form fell off a cliff, and then like slowly everybody else's did.
Yeah. I mean, okay, let's talk about the game again. Yes, so we have to look at it in more detail. What did you guys make of the midfield? Because I saw a bit of discourse online. Obviously, a lot of it came down to our attack and obviously the defending that let us down. But what did you guys make of our midfield yesterday?
Caicedo was all right. Like, felt like we were pushing a lot of players forward, so he did seem a bit more exposed in transition than usual. But I also get the desperation at that point because we're 2-0 down in about 30 minutes. Enzo, I thought, was decent. Again, another victim of cross-spamming at times. Second half, like, it was weird. I was seeing, like, Gusto in the middle, like Enzo, Caicedo, left and right-hand side, which was very weird. But, yeah, like, the midfielders, they were okay. No one was really stand out for me. Nobody really was.
They're looking shattered, though. I think they played the most minutes in the league this season
100%.
as well.
This is why I get Reece playing Thursday, though. It gave Enzo and Caicedo a week off. Like, had to be done. My only thing is, though, like, Gusto shouldn't have been the one that we brought on second half. He's out of form. He's out of form like mad.
Yeah.
Like, he gave us a bit of balance, but, like, on the ball, same shit.
Even Achimpong played well against Legia Warsaw. Why didn't he start against Ipswich?
Didn't even have to start. Just come off the bench. That could have been an option we used at least.
Like, you left three left.
Because all those centre backs were shit, all three of them.
You left three right backs on the bench though. Like, what was your actual game plan in that point? That's why we don't seem to understand what he's trying to do.
No.
His in-game management for me is the biggest problem.
I think one thing I've seen with the low blocks that we're coming up against is I've watched Liverpool play a lot against low blocks. I've watched Tottenham play against low blocks. I've watched Arsenal play against low blocks. One thing they always do is they try and overlap a fullback. They play a back two. We always line up in a three all the time at the back, no matter which system we play. They play a two at the back. They have overlapping fullbacks. Then the wingers come into the middle. The DM stops the counter attacks all the time. Why couldn't we yesterday just bring Palmer or bring Noni just a little bit more inside, have Gusto overlapping, Palmer just in the middle, Sancho inside, Cucurella overlapping, Jackson up front, Enzo around the box? Why couldn't we try that? Like, I know you're allergic to fullbacks, mate, but just try it. Just try it.
Because we avoid that tactic from the start of the season. We used to overlap that fullback. Now we don't.
But if you're losing and you're drawn 2-2 to Ipswich, just change your system, mate.
Yeah.
Try it. Bring Tyreek George on. Bring Josh on. Try and get him up the pitch. I don't get it. I don't get why he's so stuck in his ways. And he's tried different systems this season. He's tried to bring Cucurella from a DM to an attacking midfielder and move centre-backs around and put Jackson deeper and then put Enzo in the box. And it's just, he's trying things and it's not working. That's why I'm worried about Maresca, is he's trying things and it's not working. And the one thing that's staring at you in the face is to put an overlapping wing back on, and he's not doing that. Like,
My only thing is, though, like, would we still get to the same end result of just being stuck in 1,000 crosses?
I don't think so.
Because you'd
So,
have
like-
more movement in the box. So you'd actually have bodies in the area.
Yeah, but Jackson's movement in the box is a problem for me.
He's too wide, though.
I think
He's too
Noni's one
wide.
of our
You
most
don't
dangerous
know where
wingers.
to be whenever there's a cross being delivered. And, like, he barely has the strength to handle it anyway. So it's like, okay, like, maybe we might open up a bit more gaps, but he's not good in the air. This is something that you needed another strike with better aerial threat for. And then even then, like, the inverted thing wouldn't be as much of a problem because we'd at least have a focal point in the middle that we could find. Things with Jackson off the ball, like, he's good in transition, but in the box, no, not as good.
God, guys, I've never felt so dejected. I know it's Monday morning, but
This is what two shit windows do to us, man.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's tough, and honestly, I couldn't help but I look over at Maresca at the touchline during the game. The guy looks worried and he looks concerned. He's looking like he wishes there was another manager around him who could actually, like, take over this situation right now and deal with it. He looks so dejected, and you kind of look back and, guys, we were 2 points off Liverpool. in winter. In December, 2 points behind. Now we're 22, I believe. Like the difference between what a few months have done is, it's just beyond me. But yeah, he does look void of ideas, but he's going to have to change something. I don't understand. And yeah, you can't help but look at the lineup and see 3 right backs on the bench and you start Chalobah there. Like some things just don't need to be overcomplicated. And yet he just sees a reason and a need to keep on doing it. So yeah,
some of his comments aren't really helping himself a little bit because he just literally just shot himself down on the foot.
I didn't even hear the comments. Like, I just detached from everything after the
apparently
game.
he's blaming the fans. Apparently,
it's something about
the booing at half-time.
The environment.
Oh, I don't blame them booing at half-time. You're 2-0 down at home to Ipswich. I understand that.
I've always had this thing where it's like, I don't believe in booing your players because I just don't see what good it brings. But from a perspective of criticism and just being completely dissatisfied with what you're seeing on the pitch, you can't blame the fans for being frustrated. I mean, guys, Robert Sanchez yesterday as well. The guy gave away the ball to an Ipswich player at least 4 times on my account. And the amount of times he kicked it out of play as well. Like, we're talking about a goalkeeper that can't do the bare minimum, yet here we are wishing and hoping for Champions League football. Like, it's just...
This is why I get the fan. This is why, to a point, I get the fans, like, not having a lot of faith in terms of what we're trying to do, because you're trying to play out the back with Robert Sanchez. We've seen enough. Even in terms like the centre-backs, tossing, his passing was fucking atrocious yesterday. Gave the ball away about 4 or 5 times himself.
Oh my God.
Chalobah as well, sloppy as fuck. Cole was the only one decent with the passing, but even then, he's the one that falls asleep for the first goal. So all 3 of the centre-backs were shit. But this is the thing, like, if there's no faith in them, I don't blame them for being a bit anxious, and then you get to a point where you're 2-0 down, I don't blame the fans for booing. Don't.
I think he tried to invert Cucurella in the midfield. He tried to do that. That's why.
Yeah, he did.
He did try a couple of times, but yeah, it's just that, again, that you got 3... centre-back, you got Chalobah, Colwell, and then Tosin. Arguably, that 3 defenders that are prone to make a mistake. That's what happened literally yesterday.
And inverting Correa invites a lot of pressure. There's a lot of vulnerability down that left-hand side. Actually, a lot of Ipswich's attack was coming down that right-hand side because it's so exposed. And we're so unbalanced when we're hit on the break. And that's it. We crumble. It's so easy to overturn. And, all you need is a clinical finish and you're in. That's it. It's literally that easy. Yet we need 100 chances to score 1.
That second goal by Ipswich, it just sums it all up, our defence the whole season. How can you be sleeping in the back post just like that? You literally 1-0 down. Just make sure don't concede another goal. And that's what we did. We just fell asleep the whole...
For me, it was more everything before that. Chalobah and the build-up. He goes forward for no reason. And then he does that. He doesn't get the ball, and then we get countered on our right-hand side. Ball gets played across the left. Cucurella isn't watching his man. 2-0.
Yeah.
It's all just individual errors. Like, when it comes to us defensively, I actually think as a system, I think we've improved defensively over the last couple of weeks. What we can't change is the fucking bozo gene in our back line and in our goal. We make so many dumb mistakes leading to goals nearly every single game, and it's like we just shoot ourselves in the foot. And this is the thing with the experience there is tossing. So what are we doing? And also, Maresca changes his centre-backs basically every other week because he only ever trusts Colwell and Fofana together.
Yeah.
And our best centre-back is an injury croc.
We got Badia Chile on the bench, but...
Hey, I'm at a point where I'd rather just see him start over Colwell. I don't give a damn.
Why is he not getting minutes? I don't get it.
I
We had our
thought...
best run with him left centre back last year.
Didn't we have to start players based on the last performance, or do we start players based on merit, though?
I couldn't tell you
Maresca
anymore.
that one.
I couldn't tell you anymore.
There you go.
Yeah. No, you're right. But the thing is, like, there's not a standout duo, really, is there? On paper, yeah, you'd probably say Fofana and Colwell, but even then, you're not exactly completely secure in your back line. It makes you nervous. And I know that's amplified by having a goalkeeper behind you who, you don't know their next move. How are you supposed to feel kind of content and composed at the back when your goalkeeper doesn't know what he's doing most of the time? And you can see the frustration in the miscommunication constantly. Like, I sit behind the goal. I hear Sanchez arguing, or Colwell arguing with Sanchez, or Sanchez arguing with Tosin all the time, more than it's actually healthy to, right? So you can actually see how much chemistry is broken up in this team as well. And I know they're all mates and I know they get along. Like, we see all the videos off the pitch and, you know, they're all very banter, all in the same kind of age group. It's fun and it's vibes. But there comes a point on the pitch where the chemistry isn't really there anymore, as good as it was at the start of the season. Or maybe everyone was just really excited to hit the ground running, get some minutes, you know, fight for their place, impress the manager. And now it's just come to a point in the season where it's so repetitive and, you know, our patterns have become predictable, not in a good way. And what's even more concerning to me, guys, is that we have been struggling in the Conference League too. You know, let's just turn our attention, because that's our next game. Obviously, 3-0 in the first leg, fine. That seems to be wrapped up. But I've at least hoped to enjoy the football in the Conference League, yet it hasn't really been something entertaining to blow you away when you look at the disparity in the quality of our team with all the rest of the teams. Like, with all due respect, I think there's some good teams in there. I said to Taron before we started recording that I watched Real Betis's game last week. If we met Real Betis in the final with the football they played, we could lose that final. I'm literally stuttering saying that, guys, but just think of that. Is there a world in which Chelsea bottle the Conference League?
It'll be the final.
There is, but like I still think we win it, to be completely honest.
Imagine a world where Chelsea bottle Champions League football
I don't even want to.
Bottle the Conference League, guys. How I actually dread to think the meltdown that would happen.
Speaking of Conference League, I genuinely I would say the last 5 months now. Well, since the Astana game, I'm just enjoying the not only the foot, but outside the football stuff, but off the pitch.
The travelling and everything.
The travelling and everything.
Yeah,
I just enjoy that. Like, it's just that the same thing. I try to enjoy that trip when I was in Warsaw on Thursday, but why do I keep seeing the same stuff? Like, all I see is that the Warsaw home fans going to be the ones that rocking at the bridge on Thursday. They're going to be the ones that pulling the pyros from
the singing section will be back. So who knows?
Again, it's just that, yeah. Thursday will be the epitome of on Sunday. Will be the same thing, regardless when we were 3-0 up. I don't really care. Just
tie's done.
Tie's done. Yeah, but
nothing to really think about that one. But this is the thing in terms of football in the Conference League. I just think we're playing at 30% there, because that's all we have to do. Like, you see the same blueprint. Crap first half, where it just flies by. Make some changes, win the game. Whatever, keep it stepping.
In my head, though, yeah, you could be playing at 40%, but for that 40%, the football still needs to be so much better. I don't know. I guess it's just me wishing for some more entertaining
Even if we go back to Legia Warsaw in the first leg, final third.
Mm-hmm.
Just shit from nearly everybody bar George first half.
Mm-hmm.
Then we bring on Noni. We move Sancho to the left. Move Tyreek George into the middle. You suddenly look a lot more fluid. It's just tweaks. That was just it. But like, it's the final third that's been our biggest issue for me this year. All of their form has just fell off a cliff.
Yeah. But again, like, you know, the conversations we had after, you know, the post-Brighton meltdown twice, where, you know, the protest and everything before the Southampton game, like, all of that is still the deeper rooted issue here, isn't it? Of course, here today we're talking about the football, we're talking about Maresca, but, you know, the decisions of bringing in Maresca, the decisions of assembling the squad this way, it all stems up to the hierarchy. So again, it's like whatever happened at the start of the season, we were kind of set up to fail at the get-go. I looked at the touchline and I thought, those two were in the running of our managers this year, like Kieran McKenna and Enzo Maresca. Like, this is where the criteria, with all due respect to the managers, are, but, you know, a championship manager is enough to come in at Chelsea and do a good job, apparently.
This is why I can't be Maresca out without these sporting directors going first. There ain't no way I'm going to let them pick the next coach if it's going to be Maresca going. Because we know what the shortlist is going to be. Yeah. We saw it last year when the likes of Hansi Flick were available. The most experienced manager we looked at was De Zerbi. There was McKenna, Thomas Frank, Maresca. It's going to be the exact same thing if we get rid of Maresca and the sporting directors are still in charge. So fuck it. Maresca's definitely accountable for this season. He's shown me enough that I believe if we get the right profiles for him, we're going to play a much better brand of football and have much better results. Do I have faith in them to do that? Not really. Do I have faith in them to bring in not even a better coach, a more experienced coach, a proven coach that isn't washed? No. So what's the point in changing for me? What's the point? When I have to look at this season, and I think the two windows have been the biggest problem.
Yeah. But I think both can be true. For me, it can be true that Maresca's not good enough for Chelsea and that they're not going to make a better decision
God forbid,
Yeah,
God
I can hear
forbid,
that.
God forbid they sack Maresca and then get Chris Wilder from Sheffield United in.
They ain't gonna do that. They're gonna bring in some data-driven potential manager that could be one of the best in a couple years.
Oh dear.
I don't know. I was talking about this off camera. I don't know what you guys think about Liam Rosenior coming next year.
Fits the bill perfectly, doesn't he?
I'm actually an advocate for it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I see something with him. The Strasbourg. He's basically managing an academy team in Ligue 1.
And to be fair, the players doing quite well as well, aren't they? They're in the run for what place are they in right now?
They're 2 points off. 2 points off second.
So they're in the
They're still
run.
in the top 4 then.
Yeah.
No, fair play.
Well, top 5. They're 2 points off second though, off Monaco. He's got Diego Moreira playing like prime Roberto Carlos on that left hand side. We know him. He couldn't even get a game under Poch. He's got Andre Santos playing as one of the best fielders in Europe. Petrovic is playing amazing under him.
He's
Emmanuel
the best
Megarov.
goalkeeper in France.
I think Rosenior is a top coach, and I think Blucher will look at him next season. I'm being deadly serious because I think the stuff he's done, he fits the bill perfectly with what the owners will look for in a manager. Developing young players, he's a real big man in the dressing room, and he's really got the players playing well. So, again, I'm deadly serious. I'll be happy with us looking at Rosenior next season to come into Chelsea, and I think it's crazy to say, but I think. I really, really like Rosenior as a coach. I think he's top tier, and he's done very, very good this season at Strasbourg.
I don't watch enough Strasbourg, so I ain't gonna say anything against it. But it's just if we're gonna get rid of Maresca, I'm going to want someone that could actually just win me trophies now. Because what's the point of the project? You're gonna cut one off in another year.
If the directors leave and you have the choice of bringing one manager, that's realistic. Who would you bring in?
Ancelotti, Xavi, what's his name? Inzaghi. That would be a dream one for me.
Inzaghi is such a.
But
good
I want
coach.
someone proven. I can't be asked if we're gonna get rid of Maresca to bring in another project manager. What's the point? What's the point?
Give me Ancelotti Last Dance Part 2, man. Give me that.
He's not going to Brazil after Real Madrid. That's
Done. Don't know.
Don't know, man. Probably. Yeah.
But yeah, go get me somebody proven. If we're going to get rid of Maresca, go get me somebody that has proven to take teams to the top and could actually improve the mentality of this team. Because mentality does partly stem from the manager, partly individuals as well, because they're the ones that are on the pitch. They're the ones that have to get the players up when they're in periods of adversity and all that. But a manager can also change that tenfold. So you get me a manager with a strong mentality that's a proven winner. Fine, I don't mind.
Do you think Tuchel would be top, second, third place with this squad right now if he was our manager still? The exact same squad that we have right now.
He'd certainly do what we want with the wing backs.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I'd
True.
certainly hear you
We'd
on that
be
shout.
way better defensively.
Yeah.
Way better.
The forward line would probably be the same shit. On one front.
We do need trophies right now just to lift that confidence for these players, and I think I couldn't think of a better way. If let's say if we win the Conference League, it felt so much better for these players after the poor run of form. And my worrying for me is that let's say if we hypothetically lose the Conference League final and then finish outside the top 8, it would be drastically dropped, and financially as well, that we could be in trouble.
We're fucked financially without UCL football anyway before we even get to the Conference League. So yeah, it's all a bit shit right now, isn't it?
We are in a limbo. We are in a limbo. That's for sure.
Oh, we are. Yeah, in a really, really bad place. But like with the manager, the first and foremost thing is I always look at Maresca and I think you're demanding a manager to qualify a club like Chelsea in the Champions League when he's never had sight and experience of even being, do you know what I mean, at that level, competing at that level.
It's first Prem season, isn't it?
First Prem season.
This is why I said he's got a bit more leeway from me than Poch, because I understand there's an inexperienced thing with him that's going to lead to some naive moments. Now, again, he can hold accountability. I have no issue with it. If you're going to get me a better coach or a proven coach, fine. I don't even mind getting rid of him. But not before the sporting directors.
Yeah.
Not before them, because they are the ones that are going to pick the next coach, and it's going to be exactly the same metrics that we picked the last one from.
Definitely. You can't trust them really with decisions. No. You know, you make a mistake once, fine, twice, but 3 times, and also with everything that you've done in between and the big glaring issues that you've ignored in the squad as well. Yeah, it's hard to believe. Do you remember that video that went viral, Father, of you smashing that bottle after we lost 5-0 to Arsenal?
God forbid.
What did you say about that project then?
Oh, that was God forbid. I couldn't even remember what happened that day. But yeah, God forbid if they're gonna. if they're gonna hire another new mediocre manager in, like, you might as well just scrap the project, innit? What's the whole point of this? To be honest with you, yeah.
They're just going to be stuck in the same position though if we don't get UCL, because yet again the wage structure isn't going to like improve, which is again going to limit the amount, the sort of players that we go for.
Okay, let me guys ask you this question then.
Yeah.
It's all good dreaming about the Champions League, right? Let's say, as we have all discussed today, that we don't make Champions League football. How are you going to go in for the profiles that we would like in summer, or the calibre of players that we want to go for, when this is going to be another year out of Champions League football under a manager who's just working things out, with players who are still figuring it out and learning on the job? How is this going to be an attractive prospect for a player if you're, you know, in a bidding war with other clubs that are in Europe?
You have to break the wage structure, and we won't be able to do that. That's like,
Yep.
you just have to hope they find another gem. That's what it's come back to. Roll the dice again one more time.
It's not another hope, but I genuinely don't know what to expect, really. It's just that we'll have to wait and see. We're in a limbo, but I just don't know what's gonna happen.
It's literally just hoping and praying that
Yeah.
like having another season with Maresca would mean they understand the style of play a bit quicker. And for fuck's sakes, go and get the fucking profiles that he needs. Even if they're inexperienced or whatever, or they're just about to blow or whatever the fuck that buzzwords they're going to use for him. Get the profiles so there's no excuses next season.
Taron, what do you think, mate? Is Chelsea going to be an attractive club in summer if we're not in the Champions League, if it's another season working out what it is we're doing? If you're a player that's been scoring 26-7 goals this year, and, you know, you're being looked at by every good Premier League club, you're looked at by clubs in La Liga, are you going to look at Chelsea and think, yeah, I actually fancy going there? Especially if you're coming up to 25, 26 years old.
I think, first of all, Andre Santos, I don't know why he wouldn't be looking at, you know, signing for a UCL club then. Like, I don't know why he'd want to come back to play Europa League, because he's good enough to play in the Champions League. So is Petrovic. So I don't know why them two wouldn't look at leaving. In terms of profiles, why wouldn't Liam Delap go to a UCL club? Isak won't sign for us. Gyökeres will not sign for us. Victor Osimhen will not sign for us either, unless we pay the wages he wants. So
Petrovic and Santos will stay.
If we don't get UCL, who says they will?
Well, what makes us think we're selling them when every other article that we've heard says we're keeping them?
I don't trust these briefs, bro. I don't trust these briefs.
That's fair enough, but they would be making a very big statement if they sold either one of them.
If we got
because Petrovic apparently just wants to be number one, and to be honest, he's already earned it. Santos, like, he would improve the midfield depth massively. Maybe even starts in the midfield. Who knows? But it's great competition regardless. And those bringing them two in already improves the team. That's what I'm saying in the window. Like, it couldn't be more easier for them to just get the team sorted, because there's so many transfers you don't have to make. Esteval, Andre Santos, Petrovic, all just come back into the team. Then you go get a striker, you maybe go get another left winger, get another centre-back, potentially with some more experience, and that's it. You don't have to buy anybody else. Free transfers is all that we're asking for. So,
who would be everyone's three signings this summer? Three signings.
I would go for a striker first. Gyökeres or
100%.
Osimhen for me.
Yeah.
Really?
And then sort out the goalkeeper and then the centre back. Centre back will be the last priority for me.
Goalkeeper, I'll run Jorgensen and Petrovic next season. I'll be fine with that. Centre backs, I'm not really sure in terms of like the name that I want. Striker, Osimhen. Left winger, Lookman. Maybe Leao. I like his numbers. I don't like his work rate off the ball. But that's it.
To me, Leao's not really an upgrade right now, and on the wingers we have, and I think he's become too inconsistent. And I think under Maresca, a lot of his flair and what makes Leao a good player is going to be gone. Lookman's not a bad shout. I think, you know, his numbers are quite good right now, aren't they? In the Champions League, decent player there. But I agree with Fathur. Striker needs to be the first signing that we make this summer, not a free centre back who's, I don't know, coming from.
I want him in before the Club World Cup.
Yeah, no, period. And obviously Chelsea, if they back their words that we're going to be quite busy in that first week of June to get business secured, then great. I think for me, Osimhen is never happening at Chelsea. I think that's just a fairy tale myth legend legend, whatever you want to call it. That is always going to be whispered every window. But trust me, guys, Osimhen was actually feasible last summer. If we didn't make it happen then how on earth are we going to do it now? They're not going to change the wage structure. He's not going to come to Chelsea. And yeah, I just think that ship has sailed. The fact that they even made it a thing that we were trying to go in for him on deadline day. You don't sign a player like Osimhen on deadline day. Like, it just doesn't happen. But I think in terms of signing, Gyökeres to me is the best prospect, is the one that excites me the most, and I think probably settles into Chelsea first. Delap, I'm not too sure. To me, I think it's very easy to hype a player that's done well at a club like Ipswich and, you know, bring him to Chelsea. I'm not too sure. Maybe with a better environment, but you know, his numbers aren't actually that amazing. They're good at Ipswich, right? But he's only got 1 goal less than Jackson this year, so I probably need someone a little bit better. And I want an experienced centre back. I don't know who, I don't know why, but someone at least half of what Thiago Silva was like for us, because he was never replaced, and I don't see him being replaced by any of the players we have right now. So we need to go in and find that someone. Frankly, that's not our job, is it? The amount of sporting directors, the amount of experience these guys are supposed to have, they can't keep making the wrong decisions.
No.
But yeah, guys, fun little conversation for Monday. Obviously, thanks for joining. Everyone in the comments, let us know your thoughts. I know there's a lot of hard truths circling around the club right now, and everyone's got a right to be angry, question whatever's going on here. But subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV if you haven't done so already. My channel, Lewis's channel, Vivo Football, obviously Taron's platform will be in the description down below as well, guys. I would say have hope, but what hope is there to have? Have a good rest of your week though, and obviously Conference League night to follow on Thursday. Thanks, guys.